The other day, I went to the store and I bought a package of M&Ms. Now, I love M&Ms, but I in particular love the orange ones. I don't know why, I just prefer that particular color. Now, I started to think, what is the probability that if I went into this package of M&Ms and I withdrew one, that it would be an orange M&M? Now, the problem is that I don't know what the distribution of colors in my package of M&Ms are, so I went on the internet and Googled it. Now, it turns out that there are two different factories where the standard M&Ms are made in the United States. There's one in Cleveland and there's one in Hackettsville. And the distribution of colors that are produced at these two different plants is different. Now, if I get a package, how do you know which of these two plants they are and therefore which distribution of colors? Well, it turns out they tell you. If you go and flip it over and look on the back, then right up here there's a code, and if that code has HKP in it, then you're going to say that it is indeed from the Hackettsville plant. And it has a different code if it's from the Cleveland plant. So it's that HKP that tells me that this particular bag of M&Ms that I bought at the store came from that particular plant, and then I know the distribution, or at least Google's going to tell me what it is. So this creates the perfect conditional probability example. I can ask all sorts of questions like, what's the probability of an orange M&M given that it comes from the Hackettsville plant, and so on. So let's go take a look at the math involved. So I went and put the data that I found online into a table. That I have one row for the Cleveland plant and one row for the Hackettstown plant. And the point of this table is that one cell of the table is a conditional probability. So, for example, let me look at this Hackettstown orange plant one. This is the probability that I get an orange M&M given, the vertical line here means given that I know it's from the Hackettstown plant. And that's what all the different probabilities in this table, they reference different conditional probabilities. Probability that's a blue M because it comes from the Cleveland plant, and so on. So that's what 0.25 means. But what about if I do it the other way around? What if I ask, for example, what is the probability that you get a M&M that came from the Hackettstown plant if you know that it's orange? Now, there isn't actually enough data on this table, or it appears anywhere on the internet, to be able to answer this question exactly. The issue is that while they told us the probability of the M&Ms coming from these two different plants, we don't know what the probability of coming from each of the plants are. Does one sell 10 times as many as the other? I don't know, and it's not publicly available. So if you know that you've got an orange M&M, but you haven't looked at the package, there's no good way of doing the other conditional probability, the probability that it's coming from a particular plant, given that you've got an orange M&M. So, because I want to carry on with this video and do a little bit more probability, but I don't have the numbers, I'm just going to, make them up. Imagine that I go off, I buy a bunch of M&Ms from the one plant and a bunch of M&Ms from the other plant, and I create the following table. In this table, the cells don't represent conditional probabilities. They are the number of M&Ms that I have mixed together in some bowl. And what you can see is that along the Cleveland plant row, that there's 100 M&Ms that came from there, and there's 100 that came from the Hackettstown one. I've also added to my table one column that gives you the total number of M&Ms in any given row, and one row which gives you the total number of M&Ms in any given column. So nonetheless, I have these 200 M&Ms with this different distribution of the colors and the plants. So let me ask the same question I asked before. What's the probability of it being orange given that it comes from the Hackettstown plant? Now, note that now I am using this data in my made-up table, not the total availability for all M&Ms. So I actually am going to use my conditional probability formula. And the way the conditional probability formula works is you look at the probability of the intersection. The probability that it's both orange and from the Hackettstown plant. And then you divide out by the probability that came from the Hackettstown plant. That's my conditional probability formula. So in this case, the probability that it's orange and that it's HKP from the Hackettstown plant is, well, there's 25. It's this cell right up here. There's 25 of those M&Ms out of 200 in total. And then for the probability that it comes from the Hackettstown plant, the P of HKP, well, there's 100 M&Ms from that plant out of 200 total. So again, what we're going to get here is 25 over 200 on the top, the 25 ones that are orange and from the Hackettstown plant, divided out by the 100 divided by 200, the 100 M&Ms divided by 200 total. When you're doing this, the dividing by the total number, the 200 appears in the numerator and the denominator. We can cancel that. And so what are we left with? 25 over 100, just 0.25. Now, one way to think about this is that when I give you that it's coming from the Hackettstown plant, that allows us to focus just on that particular row, the Hackettstown row, and sort of ignore all the other information. In which case, you could get to the answer a little bit faster than going through the full formula. You could say, well, look, there's 25 orange out of 100 total in this row, 25 divided by 100, that's it. As in, when you have a table, the conditional probability is kind of like just saying, which row or which column are you talking about? Well, let's see one that uses columns. Let's go the other way around, the one we couldn't previously do. That is, I want to now investigate the probability that it comes from the Hackettstown plant, given that it's orange. So imagine I'm taking my 200 M&Ms, I'm mixing them all up together, I don't know what it is, I pull out one at random, and I tell you that the one you've pulled out is orange. Well, what's the probability it comes from one plant versus the other? Now, in this case, we're going to do the same thing. Our conditional probability formula tells us the probability of the intersection, that it comes from Hackettstown plant and that it's orange, and then you divide out by the probability it's orange. Well, the numerator is as it was before. There's 25 in that category that's both out of 200. And then if I look at the column for orange, well, there's a grand total of 45 out of the 200 that happen to be orange. So what do we have here? 25 divided by 200 on the top and 45 divided by 200 on the bottom. The 200s, again, they just sort of cancel. We can get rid of them. It's 25 over 45, and that gives me a decimal 0.56, approximately. And then when I think about it this direction, it's a little bit like just choosing a specific column. If I just focus in on that orange column, well, then I can just say it's 25 divided by 45. 25 that come from the HTTP and or orange, divided by the 45 orange in total. So when you do conditional probability from a table, it's just choose a particular row or choose a particular column, and then you could do a normal probability within that row or within that column. Let's just do one more example, one more with a little bit of a trick. Let's do the probability that it comes from the Hackettstown plant, but that it is not orange. No, when I do it that way, when I say that it is not orange, this is like me just sort of throwing out that one particular column of the table, just saying this is not a possibility. Now my 200 M&Ms, I subtract off 45, I only have 155 remaining M&Ms. And if I want to think about what's the probability here, well, it's the same old conditional probability from the Hackettstown plant and the probability of not being orange, divided out by the probability of not being orange. But now I have to add up a whole bunch of things in the numerator and the denominator, because the way to not be orange is to be red or yellow or green or blue or brown, all of those different possibilities. So let's figure out how many there's going to be. Well, in the numerator, I add up all of the ones that are not orange and come from the Hackettstown plant. So there was 12 that were red, and then there were 13 that were yellow, and so on. And then in the denominator, I'm going to put in just what's the total numbers of ones that are not orange. Well, there's 25 total reds, and there's 27 total yellows, and so on. If I want to, I could divide the top and the bottom by the 155, the number of total M&Ms, but it's going to cancel anyway, so I didn't write it down. Nonetheless, you add these numbers up, and you get approximately 0.52. Okay, now all that's left is to eat some M&Ms. So let's see what we have here. Oh my goodness, they're going everywhere. All right, so it looks like I have 4 orange ones over here. Those are the good ones. And then I've got 4, 8, 12, 14, and some scrambled up ones. I guess it was in the bottom of my backpack. Now this bag is not at all necessarily representative of all bags, but for this bag, there was a 4/14th chance of getting an orange one. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. If you have a question about the video, leave it down in the comments and I will see you for some more math in the next video.